Hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar. I'm super excited to be here tonight. My name is Beatriz, but everyone here at BairesDev calls me B or Bea, and I am from Belo Horizonte, Brazil. I've been working at BairesDev for almost 2 years now, and I am currently working as an employer brand analyst. So I hope all types of cool initiatives like this webinar here in the company. As you can see here, we'll have some other special guests with us tonight, and they'll be joining us really soon and introducing themselves. I'm not going to spoil any surprises. But before we move on, I'd like to know where our attendees come from. So please drop a comment saying which city or which country you're from. I'm gonna be reading those comments real soon. Um, while I'm waiting for those comments, let me give you a clear view on tonight's scope, okay? So, to start, I'm going to give a quick introduction on BairesDev, followed by a conversation with our guests, and in which they'll share their experiences on traveling the world while working remotely, and giving a few tips too, so you can do the same, And if you have any questions about either BairesDev, our hiring process, the remote work environment, the digital nomad lifestyle, traveling while working, anything you want to know that haven't been answered on this presentation, or even if you want to share something related to the topic of this webinar, leave a comment here on our YouTube, on LinkedIn. We're streaming on both platforms, so then we can check them during the Q&A session at the end. Okay. To start, moving on, for those who don't know much about BairesDev, let me give you a quick introduction about the company. We are a tech solutions and software outsourcing company. BairesDev was founded in 2009 by Paula Zori and Nacho DeMarco. And we are a very dynamic and flexible company. And ever since the day we started, to be honest, we've been working really hard to offer an exciting environment where high performing tech professionals can display their talents, share their knowledge. And we really we are a remote first company, and that makes us able to bring together high performing tech professionals from all over the world, and therefore breaking down geographical barriers and always creating truly diverse teams to support our clients' needs with excellence, while also being recognized and trusted for employing the most talented professionals in the IT market. I'm pretty sure you guys can see a map there on the screen. And at BairesDev, we believe in the power of remote work to empower professionals around the globe, all over the globe. We always wanted to work with the top 1% tech talent, the best tech talent. But we knew that those people would not be in a single city or even in a single country. So we've been working 100% remotely ever since day one. And we currently have people working for more than 600 cities in over 50 countries, which is amazing. And now I'm going back to the YouTube comment section here. Let me see if I can find. I see people from Brazil and Mexico, and let me see. Okay, let me see on LinkedIn. Oh, Ecuador, Costa Rica, República Dominicana. Oh, I see people from Canada. Amazing. Argentina. Amazing, guys. As you can see, we are everywhere, and you guys are also everywhere. So if you want to join the tech global workforce and become a BitEver, stay tuned. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to share a link so you can apply to our openings. And until then, let's just dive deeper into the digital nomad lifestyle, okay? Well, digital nomadism is all about, how can I say, living a flexible, tech-powered lifestyle. So instead of going to a specific location, being tied to this specific location, digital nomads, they use technology to work from anywhere in the world. With remote work becoming more common, especially after the pandemic, digital nomadism has gained popularity because it's a very exciting and adventurous way to live and work at the same time. Considering that all of our openings here at BairesDev are 100% remote and we have flexible schedules, a lot of BitEvers have embraced this lifestyle, Um, whenever we think of remote work, and this is something I would like to say here, because we think of remote work and we usually associate with home office. But honestly, it could be like anywhere office. I believe it would translate better to this. You too, like at home, can escape the traditional office setting and enjoy the freedom to work from a beach, a cozy cafe, the mountainside, like anywhere. So basically, to sum up, digital nomads essentially work and travel at the same time. To learn a little more about that, I'm going to invite our experts here, our special guests. So Felipa and Gabriel, please join us. Thanks for joining, guys. Let's welcome them. You're going to be seeing them real soon here. Okay, here they are. Amazing. Thanks for joining again, guys. If you don't mind, please just introduce yourselves. Like, tell us a little about you and how you ended up embracing this lifestyle. Who wants to start?
I can go first. So, hello everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me for this webinar. So, my name is Filipa. I'm a talent assessment analyst here in BairesDev, and I've been working for BairesDev for the past 14 months. And I'm from Belo Horizonte, like Bea.
Amazing. What about you, Gabriel?
Hey everyone, thank you for the invitation. My name is Juan Gabriel Gutierrez. I'm from Colombia, work working from Medellin. I'm software engineer, working as a software engineer in BairesDev. Already 2 years working on BairesDev. Yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Oh, nice seeing you all, guys. How did you guys? Because a little bird told me that you guys like to travel a lot, and you did that a lot while working. How did you start traveling while working? How did it all begin?
Well, half Brazilian, half Portuguese. So, for me, it was really natural looking and decide to work for a remote company and have a job who, which allows me to travel around the world because I have my family living in all the places that you can imagine. So I could say that is something that was part of my life since I was a kid. It was natural for me.
Amazing. What about you?
Oh, well, um, I've been working for remotely. I've been working for companies in the States since 2009. So, okay, that's one of the advantage of the remotely work. So, thanks to that, I was able to travel to many places internally in Colombia and also some countries in America and also in Europe. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, like, how many places have you been, or maybe what's the longest that you've been traveling while working?
Um, well, the longest trip was 2 months. That was the some years ago when I visited Europe the first time. Yeah, that was the longest time. But obviously, with BairesDev, that was my recent trip to Europe. That was 40 days working from different places. That was also experience because that my previous experience. I mean, some years ago, I only stayed in Spain, specifically in Barcelona, 2 months. But and this time that was 40 days in eight different countries and 9 different cities. So that was a completely different experience. Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear more about it. What about you, Felipa?
Well, from my entire life, I can't say right now, but since I started working for Baities, so for the past 14 months, uh, I think 16 cities and 7 countries.
Wow.
And the longest one, before working for Baides, was 3 months in Netherlands. But since I started working for Baides, it was around 1 month between South Africa and Mozambique.
Oh, great. I mean, and you both mentioned like how this works for you while working here at BairesDev, and how do you feel that BairesDev supports this lifestyle of you?
Well, first, it's a 100% remote company, and my position allows me to have a flexible schedule. Of course, I need to respect my team time zones and be available at least 6 hours at the same time as the whole team.
Mhm.
And like I said, my position allows me to have a flexible schedule. I think this helps me a lot.
Amazing. What about you, Gabriel? How do you feel BairesDev supports this lifestyle, and what do you do? Like, how do you manage this? Like, as Felipa said, she has a flexible schedule. Does the work it work the same way for you? Like, do you usually make your own schedule?
Yeah, I think that that's the same situation, the same scenario. As software developer, you have that flexible. We only need a laptop and a good internet connection to do our job. So I think by they provide the tools. Also, you can get um, the right permission. I mean, you can the managers is they are always open to negotiate a way to work from. I mean, you need to you need to negotiate with the managers to be able to work from everywhere with no problems with the flow of the job. I mean, with the work. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, they are always open to negotiate to get to uh how to say the equilibrium point.
hmm,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, you can
between.
compensate days. For example, once again, my position allows me to, for example, if I want to work during the holidays, the national holidays, I can. So I normally work during the national holidays, and then I use those days to compensate if I need, for example, to take a plane really early during the week.
makes sense. Yeah, I mean, since we're all like remote and we are all like in different time zones, I believe this is a very easy like to manage process here, since we are used to like those differences and managing those flexible schedules here.
Yeah.
I know that would like maybe differ for like maybe different from one opening to another, but overall I believe we as Gabriel said, like if we talk to a manager and negotiate things and say, okay, I need to leave early this day, I can compensate on that other one, or for this period I can like manage all my meetings, but then on that specific time I'm gonna be, I don't know, doing something. I believe it all works fine, you know. But like, okay, we can manage those time zones and those schedules here, but what are some of the challenges you faced while traveling and working simultaneously?
Obviously, this time zone management, that's I find this really hard because, for example, when you are working from Europe, the time difference is really huge.
Hmm.
So that's really important to negotiate asynchronous meetings with the client. So that way, maybe you don't need to stay late. I mean, waiting for a meeting. Also, the client needs to be aware you are in a different time zone, so they don't need to they're not going to reach out in maybe at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. I mean in these hours when you
Yeah,
are resting in this different time zone. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense because like one thing that I really like about working here is that our schedules are like respected to the point where I never worked on a weekend or on a day that I wasn't supposed to be here working. So I really, really appreciate that, because I believe it's something that it's really tricky, especially when you're traveling. You need to like be sure that those things will be like organized and aligned with your manager, but then they will be respected at after, just so we can really enjoy those trips. Well, let me ask you a few more questions. I mean, one thing that I know most people think about, as Gabriel has said, like when we are traveling, we need and working remotely, we need to find a stable internet connection. For the hardware, of course, BairesDev will like provide anything you need to work, like your computer, your headset. But what about like the internet connections? How do you find reliable internet connections and quiet spaces? Because we need like a quiet space. Sometimes when you have a lot of meetings, some roles have more meetings than others. So I understand that this is a must go, like to have a quiet place where you can focus and have internet connection. Like how do you find this in different places?
Yeah, I think you need to choose well the place you're gonna stay and do your research first to see if there's any co-working office near to the place where you're staying. Maybe you can pay for the subscription for the month. I mean, for the week. It depends on
Okay.
how many days you're gonna spend there. And for example, last week I went to the northwest of Brazil, so I did my research and I realized that there's only one company in Brazil that works that the internet connection works there. So what I did, I bought a new SIM card from this company. So just in case if the Wi-Fi from the hotel, you know, was unstable, I could use the internet from my phone
Yeah.
on the computer. So this is a tip that I would give to anyone who wants to work and travel at the same time. Do your research and be organized and be prepared, because sometimes, not sometimes, always, unexpected events could happen. But if you have everything organized, I think you'll be much more willing to find a solution.
Makes sense. Thank you for that. Yeah, and like as you mentioned, like maybe some hotels also have like reliable connections there, and you can use them. I've been to a hotel once that had like this working room, like where you can like go there.
Well,
There's a desk.
one interesting strategy, beside that Felipa said, you can search in check the reviews and comments. For instance, when you're looking for a place in Booking or Airbnb, most of the people put some comments about the internet connection. Okay, the internet connection is really good. That's I can do my work. I can do uh, video calls. So that's really handy. Search in check the comments when you are looking for a place.
I mean, I'm taking notes here. I'm gonna like watch this webinar again at the end and just take notes on everything, because the SIM card and the reviews are things I never thought about before. I mean, one thing like this might be tricky because I know I'm like dealing with the top talent here. But how do you manage to keep good performance while working from different locations, different time zones? Or like maybe if you know, I'm sorry, like just something else here, maybe like if you know any tools or apps, or if you use any techniques like to help you to help keeping yourself productive and organized and those things, like.
Most important than the tools, I think you need to embrace the the work mindset. I mean, you are not a tourist, yeah. You are your primary goal is to be productive, and also no new places, yeah. But you need to be prepared to decline invitations, and resist the temptation that to go out to have fun. For instance, when I was in Barcelona, okay, Barcelona is that's an amazing city. Uh, every day you can find something to do there. When you are working in this, you need to have some overlapping hour with your client, with you. coworkers in order to share information or answer questions. But so in these overlapping hours, maybe you are going to need to work at night. So most of the city, most interesting city have something also to do at night. Yeah. So you need to be prepared to, okay, I'm working. You need to reject the invitation from your friends in order to be productive.
Yeah, but one thing like that I believe that might like planning your whole trip in advance and how long are you staying in each place that helps with that because as we mentioned we don't work on weekends so maybe if you're staying like if you're going to the city that has a very active nightlife and you're working during the night just because of the time zones you might stay like a day or like other during the weekend or maybe as Felipe said like compensate or do something like that if you don't have a very important deadline or meeting on that day so yeah I believe it's something that it's manageable too. I love the idea that like that mindset of like I'm working here so you committed to work this is something that it's a must like do like not only for traveling but for remote work. I believe many people think that it's like okay I work at the time I want and I like I won't even leave my bed I'm gonna be working on my pajamas all day and I mean I've done this well, like one time or two maybe but one thing that helps me stay on track with my tasks here is creating a work routine as if I'm in the office. Like I wake up, I take a shower, I have breakfast, I pet my cats, I sit here, start working, take a quick break to like drink water, stretch, those things. They it helps me like focus on what I'm doing without feeling like that I'm being distracted by too many things. And
So
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
sorry for the interruption. I think that the another interesting fact, or that's or another key point that you need to have into account, that's the length of the stay. I mean, for me, at least you need to stay in a place 1 week in order to immerse yourself in the culture,
Mhm.
in order to visit the interesting place and also have the time to work. Yeah, for instance, if you go to Berlin and just stay 1 week, you and you are working at the same time, that's not enough. So at least you need to, for Berlin, 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Yeah, if you are working at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you already spent on the ticket, so if you're staying a little longer, it's better.
Yeah, I agree with Bay. I think you need to keep your work routine. Of course, since you're traveling, your routine will be different, but at least the work routine it has to help you to keep productive and performance. And here in Bairis, we value a lot the self management. So I'm old school. I like to keep my agenda, my notebook agenda, but I also keep an agenda on my phone. I set up alarms to help me during my trips. I do checklists, from the tasks that I need to finish that week, and I avoid traveling near to the end of the quarter when I need to deliver all my OKRs. So
Just to have everything organized. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, yeah, since you have flexibility with like as you said, like your work is busier at the end of quarter. Some people might be at the beginning of the month. Like
yeah,
it might be different for everyone. So again, just planning and like aligning the amount of like the workload you have for that period with the travel is the best scenario. Just so you don't like feel overwhelmed by work and you have sorry a motorcycle on the street like just to have everything organized and you don't feel overwhelmed by the workload but you also can enjoy the trip like to the fullest if you're being organized. Yeah. Guys, I mean we have only 5 minutes left so I want to jump to the Q&A session but thanks for the conversation. I heard many great tips here. That was amazing. I can't wait to start planning a new trip now. I'm gonna be reaching out to you guys on Slack to like ask for more tips. I'm sure many people watching us are feeling the same way. They're very excited about um, traveling and like doing this. But as promised, it's time to answer some of the questions from our audience. I'm like reading a few comments here already, so I want to like start with our Q&A session, just so everyone is like aware. I don't know if you guys, let me just share my screen again here, just because I believe it like crashed. My internet connection like it's not this best today, guys, so please bear with me on that. But let me just go again here. Oh yeah, now it's fine. Let me just share this again. Okay, as you can see on our screen, since we're waiting for more questions to come, on the description of this event, or on like the QR code you're seeing on your screen, or on that same link you're seeing there, we have a link where you can access our social media pages, our jobs portal. In the jobs portal, you have access to all of our openings. So go there, check if there are any openings that you're interested in. We have the applicant site where you can complete your profile, do the online tests, even reach out. Like if you already applied to an opening, you're going to check the status of your application. On the applicant side, we also have the live chat support. So if you have any questions regarding your application, don't hesitate, go there and contact us. You also have access to our referrals program page, which is amazing. If you know anyone that like might be interested in joining BairesDev, refer them, and if that person starts working with us, you can get bonuses for that. And last but not least, just before we start with the real questions here, um, there's a survey, so you can rate this webinar, and also a link so you can watch the previous events. This survey is super important to us. It helps us to host better events in the future. We want to know what you think about this webinar, what kind of things you want to see in the future. So please go there. It takes less than 5 minutes. Um, while I'm selecting questions here, I'm gonna like drop a question of my own, just because I'm super curious here. Can you guys share either like your favorite destination or the most memorable experience you had on this digital nomad life? I'm gonna be scouting for questions while you answer that.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please, Bea? I think
Yeah.
the connection was broken.
Again, oh, sorry, guys.
Mm.
I mean, it's a live event, so it happens all the time. Don't worry. I just want to know, like, maybe your favorite destination, or the most memorable experience you had while traveling. Just something to spice things up here, and maybe make our audience even more interested in doing the same.
Well, in my case, it's hard to choose because I think everyone at least once needs to come to Brazil and visit Brazil. But I would say, besides Brazil, I would say South Africa.
That's a very different destination. Like, it's
Yeah.
usually not on the top of everyone's bucket
No,
list. So,
but it should, because
amazing.
you have all types of attractions and for all types of tastes and personalities. I mean, if you want to go to safari, if you like wine, you have so many wine taste possibilities. If you want to bungee jumping, I mean, and if you want to do a more immersive tourism, it's also possible. So I would
Great.
say go to South Africa. Yeah.
I'm gonna add this to the bucket list. Thanks for that. What about you, Gabriel?
Ah, I love Brazil.
Hmm.
I've never been there working at the same time, just traveling. But my favorite city is Barcelona. I love that city. I
Oh,
mean, the people, everything is good there. The food, the body, the many places, many interesting places to be there. So that's my favorite place is Barcelona. Also, I can say that Berlin is an interesting city to many people from around the world living in the
mhm.
same city. You can find many types of food there, many people interacting there. So that's interesting for me. Barcelona and Berlin. I think that
Amazing.
the most interesting city for me.
Yeah, I've never been out of Brazil, to be honest, but I've traveled Brazil quite a lot, so it's a great place. There's a lot of different things to do here. So yeah, amazing. I have a question, like from our audience, and it's something really interesting. Since you're working and traveling at the same time, how do you manage like documentation, paperwork, visas, taxes, like everything that you need to be aware of when working? You know, like Are there any tax implications when living and working in different countries? How do you manage that?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm the best person to answer that because, like I said, I'm half Brazilian, half Portuguese. So, visa is a little different for me. And I mean,
Hmm.
in Europe, I don't need to worry about it. And but I do know that for some countries, the maximum that you can stay is between 3 and 6 months. And what I do, I keep my bank account in Brazil, so I pay my taxes here. Maybe Juan can help us with that question.
Yeah, like maybe like there's something like if you have an international credit card or something like that, it usually it's enough for you
Mm,
to like manage the expenses while traveling. Maybe have some like cash, like in hand just because it might be necessary. But honestly, I believe having your bank account and all your tax and legal situation in a single country is the best way to go,
yeah,
just so you can manage
definitely.
everything. Yeah.
And you can use, I mean, once again, I can say, I can give a tip for Brazilians. You can use the Inter account.
Mm.
You can use Wise account, but I don't
Yeah,
know how
there's a lot
this
of
works.
online banks and those
Yeah,
things like companies
exactly.
that offer those services. Yeah. I have a great like question here about like don't you feel ever like tired about working and traveling at the same time? Like did that ever happen? How did you do when this happened? If so?
Well, to be honest, I start to feel tired and overwhelmed when I'm not traveling. So I do need to travel at least um, every 2 months, if I can say like that. It could be just, weekend escape. But I do understand the question. And yes, sometimes could be tough, especially if you have like long flights connections, uh, huge difference of time zone. But at least for me, after living abroad for so many years, now I would say that I'm more like anywhere office than actually a nomad,
Hmm.
because now I have my home in Belo Horizonte. So the sensation of, okay, I can go, I can travel around the world, but I do have a place to come back and rest. I think that helps me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, some people have like their families or their pets, or I mean, pets are
Yeah,
Yeah.
family, but
yeah. My
so
pet's like my daughter. So
yeah, I
I
mean,
understand, Felipa. For for instance, this short trip I made to Europe, 45 days, I get tired in the last part of the trip because I was changing many times of bed, of city, many flights. So the last 2 weeks, I was okay. That's enough. I need to come back to my home, rest in my bed,
yeah,
pet my dog. Yeah, that was
yeah.
I
yeah,
was missing everything. Yeah, okay, that's enough. That was wonderful, but I need to come back. So I can consider myself as nomad, digital nomad. I mean, maybe I a traveler, but I need a place. I need to home, like Felipa said. Yeah, so I
yeah,
think that's different when you live traveling many places, having a place as a home. I think that's really hard. I think I don't know you. I will be able to do something like that.
yeah. I
I
have
Yeah.
a
mean,
friend who
always.
doesn't have like a home of his own, like he doesn't rent or has like a single place to be. But whenever he feels tired of traveling and that kind of thing, he goes back to his family, like his family's like house. So he has somewhere to stay for a while, recharge the batteries, and start all over again. I'm seeing a lot of questions regarding the application process. How can I go ahead with the application? I mean, guys, on that link, on that QR code you're seeing on your screen, you can like access our jobs portal. All of our openings are there. Just join, select as many openings as you like, and apply to as many as you like. And we are gonna like just proceed with the hiring process and hopefully find the right match for you on one of those openings. Again, if like even if you are not like a perfect match for those openings, we'll be considering you for other openings we have here as soon as we have them. So don't worry, don't like be discouraged if you don't find anything like exactly your profile. When you apply to one opening here at BairesDev, we'll probably consider you to a lot of other openings depending on your profile. But also you have the applicant side, so you can do the tasks and reach out to our support team to answer questions regarding your application. Okay. um Let me see, like I think we have time only for one more question here, and I like love this one. I'm gonna just put this one here. What would you say, guys, to the leaders who think like that in order to control their team's like productivity and results, they need to like see their team every day all the time, blah blah blah? Like, how do you feel about that?
I
Well,
mean, you need to the leader needs to have a defined task. I mean, if you have a defined task for your team, you don't need to see your team in your place. I'm in your office. That's I
yeah,
mean that the key. I think that the key thing to control the productivity. If you are
Yeah.
clear about what does need to get done, I mean, if you need to get the chat done. If you know what tasks need to be done, uh, you don't need to go to the office. That's not needed.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I do understand that for some type of jobs, 100% remote work could be tough and won't be possible. But I also believe that there's a different types of leadership, and I would say that it's important to trust your team and trust the people that you delegating the tasks. And this is what I love here in Baides. Like I said, the self management. Of course, you need to be organized, and like I said, keep your agenda, keep everything organized to be able to traveling around and keep doing your work well. But I'm not trying to say that it's a bad manager who thinks like that. I just think it's different types of leadership.
Yeah. I mean, for someone who's like wants flexibility and has like a very like likes working with autonomy and doing its
Yeah,
own thing, like and organizing its own agenda, I believe that micromanaging might be a pain.
yeah,
And yeah, I agree with what you said. Like trust is the way to like building trust with your team and your manager and the manager with like their team. It's the way to go and make sure that things are happening and you understand things, like so if you're like making clear like what, as Gabriel said, like what task needs to be done and by when, and then like if your team delivers it, great, like you're having the results you wanted, you don't need to micromanage them all the time. And if like for any reason like it doesn't happen the way you expected, you need to like communication is key. Like you need to be transparent to say, I was expecting this to happen by this time, what happened? And then you need to understand like if it was like too much for like to ask for the project, or if that person like slipped out for some reason, and what needs to be done in order for it so it doesn't happen again.
hmm,
But I really like value and love the like having autonomy, and knowing that my managers like they trust me and they know what I'm doing here, and they don't need to like be checking on me every 5 minutes to know what I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, I believe that, as you said, for some industries that might be hard, but like we are like working for tech, so in the tech
yeah,
industry, tech is our ally. We should be using it as our like in our favor. remote work is great. Like I don't spend 2 hours in the traffic every day. I have like more time like to spend with my family, to study, to do things I like in my life. So it really motivates me to do things in a better way and like really focus on my things here, just because I'm not stressed about like going home and taking the bus or anything like that. So guys, we are exceeded our time by 10 minutes. I'm sorry. But it was like I was having the best time here. I loved all the questions and to know more about you. I would like again to thank our audience for being here. Just like one final reminder, check this link, this QR code on your screen. You're gonna have access to our portals, like our support channels, our openings. To rate this webinar, please do this. This is very, very important to us, so we can keep delivering good quality content like for you guys. And again, thanks to you, Filipa and Gabriel. It was amazing having you here. I really hope to see you guys again in the future, maybe in other initiatives, and um, talk more about your trips.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for inviting me once again. And if anyone wants to reach me on LinkedIn, because I saw there was a lot of questions that unfortunately because of the time I won't be able to answer, but if I can help clarify any doubts regarding traveling and working at the same time, just send me a message on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I make my like I make those words mine too. Like I'm available if anyone has questions regarding. I mean, I haven't traveled as much as Filipa. She's the pro on that. So like for traveling tips, I would go for her, not to me. But like if you have any questions about BairesDev or working here or the hiring process, feel free to reach out and I can like send you to the right channels and help you with that. And that's it, guys. That's a wrap.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everyone.
Bye.